All right, morning everyone. Hi, my name's Paul, and it's great to have everyone here. And basically, this is our sawmill, and I'm really a computer technical guy, but I get bored in the afternoons on Thursdays and Fridays, so I'd like to come outside and do something, and this is sort of what I came out to do in around 2006. But what happened is my dad and I were running the business for a few years together, but my dad got dementia, and so that started a long caregiving journey, and that just ended recently in a very beautiful, graceful way. He died peacefully in his sleep about 2 months ago, and so the sawmill business sort of just was here, but nothing was really happening. And then about a year and a half ago, my daughter married William, strapping young lad, and he was working at Amazon, and that was sort of a grind. You know, you just go and unload a truck, and it was just really hard on the body. So I said, hey William, I'm not going to run this sawmill. You should really, you might want to think about taking it over. And what a blessing to have him, and to see it all coming back to life again. And it's really because of William. And it does help to have a big, strong 21-year-old body, to do this kind of work. It's heavy work. I'm 61, so what a blessing. We feel so blessed to have William not only as a son-in-law, but to be able to come over here and cut these gorgeous logs. And so I'll turn it over to you, William, and
right.
You can...
All right. Well, this is kind of weird. This is not normally what I do. So thanks everybody for coming out. Obviously, I mean, this is it's been a long time coming. I said to a few of y'all, we ordered this in February of 2022, and it got here in March of 2023. So that was a long wait. We had to be a little patient with that, and so we might have bugged them a little bit, called them every week or so, and said, hey, what's an update? And they'd say, we got nothing for you. So eventually we called them, and they said, yeah, we have nothing. And then the next day he called me back and said, it's coming on Thursday. I was like, awesome. Praise God, that's amazing.
By the way, this is a registered wood miser demonstration, so if you do want to buy a saw, let me know and we'll get you hooked up.
That's right.
We make a little money, but it's not really, it's a pity.
So, it's been a long time coming. We're glad to have this thing here. Definitely glad to have all of you. Thankful for you guys just coming out here and buying wood or just knowing us and supporting us, which is awesome, and we are happy to support y'all in any way that you need. But so I'll say just kind of a quick little something, but talking with Paul and about his original intent for the sawmill. He originally thought that people wanted stuff that he would build, so he wanted to build stuff and sell it to people, and he kind of discovered lots of people like to build their own stuff. They don't necessarily want what he likes, so it was interesting, and I think we've seen that people kind of like that creative, and some people don't, and that's awesome, but a lot of people like that creative process, and that's why a lot of y'all do what you do. Is you love the process, I'm sure, and the end result, there's nothing like it. So we were created by a wonderful creator, and we get to create from things that he's created alongside of us, and we get to make beautiful things out of that. And so it's a really beautiful picture, all of it. But this is it's been a real blessing to have. We're able to fix up stuff around the house and bless other people. And if y'all know any charities or churches that are needing wood, we're happy to donate to that. So just if you hear of anything, please let us know. But I guess without further ado,
yeah, I'll make a couple.
Do you want to say a couple things?
Say a couple things.
All right.
Yeah. So one of the things we like to do here at Nashville Wood is we're cutting for artists. We're cutting for art. So we're not cutting commodities, large commodities of wood. So what we do, if you look behind you, you see everything is stacked in the log form, because say you're making a table and you're an artist, you want all that wood to be from the same log. And so we can do that. Better yet, from the same tree. So we will stack the wood by flitch, it's called. And we also sell it by flitch or by board. But that's an important thing for an artist. So, and we also dry the wood, air dry it, as opposed to kiln drying it. In a kiln, I mean, if you're building cabinets, you want wood that's out of a kiln because you don't want the wood to warp. But what we do is, the best way to dry wood is as slow as possible. And so what we'll do is put it in the barn. And a lot of the wood that's in here is 5, 6, 7 years old. It's been in here and stays very dry. It dries very slowly. When it dries quickly, it gets cracks in it and checks. So, and also when you put it in a kiln, it's like when you take an apple pie and put it in the kiln. All those apples turn color. They turn brown. Well, it's the same thing with the wood. It mutes the color when it goes through a kiln. So that's sort of our modus operandi here. And one of the things we found, like I started this sawmill I had to build a half-a-mile fence. So I bought a sawmill in 2006 to build this half-a-mile fence. But we were getting a lot of walnut logs and cherry logs, and I was putting them on the fence feeling a little guilty, but and I couldn't get it. It was really hard wood, to get a nail through. And then then gradually we started learning how to cut it better and selling it. And doing artwork with it. So we've done 2 kitchens and like 6 bathrooms all in wood. But one of the things I didn't realize is that in Nashville, Tennessee, we have the best hardwood in the world. And there is a sign in Radnor Lake to that effect. It says they came in here in the 1890s and they clear cut everything. And they said it was the best hardwood in the world. And all that wood, went all over the world. And we lost a lot of our good trees. So all these trees you see here are from World War II and afterwards. So before World War II, this was an agrarian society, and all this was cut. But then after World War II, it became much more of the Industrial Revolution sort of kicked in, and all these trees are like from World War II, which I guess is about 75 years from now, in the past, and so. A lot of the trees we get, are this big, or just a little bit older than that or about that old. And so those are all starting to be harvested now. So we see a lot of really good wood. So did you think of anything else you want to say, William, or you want?
Yes, I did. I'll try to keep it short because I know it's a little toasty out here and we all want to see this thing get cut. So there's a lot of beauty and mystery in all of this. You can look at the outside of a log and say, man, that's going to be the coolest thing ever. Cut into it and it's garbage. Or you can look at the outside of a log and say, that looks like a piece of crap. Cut into it and it's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. So there's a lot of excitement on the first couple cuts to just get to know what's going on inside there. So it's sort of hidden in there, and you just never know what you're going to get.
Tell them about the Osage.
Yeah, so there's a log over there, that long yellow one behind y'all, and I showed some of you that log earlier, but that log, the outside is really bizarre. Osage, I guess this is a piece of it, but it's really twisty. You can see it's just kind of a swirly, twisty outside, which is sort of bizarre. You don't see that very often on the Osage. I saw the log and I thought, I'm really curious. My curiosity was definitely piqued. And so I got the log, and the guy I got it from told me the people who cut it down thought it was a palm tree when they started because it looked so strange. And so I was very excited to cut into it. We talked about it a little bit about what we were sort of guessing what it was going to look like and everything. But when we cut into it, it's got this beautiful quilting, rippling going through the whole log that's very uncharacteristic of Osage, and so it's a very unique, beautiful log. And the best way we could come up with how that happened, we looked online and we talked to some people, and nobody had a great answer of how an Osage tree, which is one of the strongest trees in the world, got all twisted like that. The only thing we could come up with is it was somewhere where the wind was blowing it side to side, and so over time it just sort of twisted like this and grew that way and made for some beautiful wood. So when you get a chance, if you haven't yet, check out that stack because it is beautiful and bizarre and just a wonderful example of having no idea what the inside's going to look like until you get in there. So, well, I suppose.
Questions?
Yeah. Any questions before we get in here?
How big is that?
So this log, so that's the cutoff from it. It's about 30 inches. So this log, we said probably 85 to 100 years old. That's our estimate. I might go through and kind of count the rings up and do the math on it, but the rough estimate is about 85 to 100 years old. Any other questions before we get ripping? Yeah.
What would you do with Osage wood?
Whatever you want to do with Osage wood. It's really good, really good for tool handles. If you have a hammer handle break, put an Osage handle in that, and it probably won't break again.
It's the strongest wood in North America.
Yeah. So I mean, we use it for a lot of like brackets to fix little things that'll break here and there, like farm equipment. We'll use it to put on there. A lot of people, I mean, people make tables out of it and everything. It's really whatever you'd like to do.
It never
but
rots.
it is very hard.
You can put it in the ground for 100 years and it'll be there.
Yeah. So it's a very resilient wood. Doesn't really need a finish on it. You can put it out in the sun, and it'll be fine.
Let me ask a question for your video. For
Yeah.
others who will watch it later, what can people listening to you get to know about what you do for you? What can you do for them? So can people donate wood if their tree is fallen, or what kind of things?
Yeah,
could be
that's
done?
an
Repeat the question.
excellent question. Yes, he said, what can people do to help us, people who don't necessarily know about us, what can people do to help us, what can we do to help them? So definitely being aware of trees that fall down. I get calls all the time, people saying, hey, I got a log come down, do you want this log, and I'll talk with them, and if we can't take it, I will recommend maybe somebody else who can. But really spreading the word is the biggest thing, because we are a small company. Getting the word out there that we exist, that we have some pretty awesome capabilities. That's something that people can do for us for sure. And then, sorry, I'm a little gunky in there. But we offer all sorts of services. So we can do planing, we can do custom cutting. If you have a log that you would like cut that has fallen on your property, you can bring that here, or we can pick it up. And we can put it on the mill and cut it to whatever you need. We have a guy down the road here on Holt Road that we cut a beautiful elm log for a couple weeks ago. And so we offer all sorts of services in that manner. But yeah, I would say that's, do you have anything to add to that?
That's
I think
great.
that's
People can find you at a website.
yes, so we are at naturalwood.com, and we're on Google Business and Instagram and Facebook and everything. So we're out there for everybody to find us. Yes.
Anyone else has questions?
Anything else?
You can give me your cell phone number on the camera.
Yeah, sure. My cell phone number is 615-924-1639. That's me.
And this will be on the YouTube channel, so if you can
That's
watch
right.
it later.
If you need anything,
Yeah.
give me a call. So let's cut some wood.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, we need to have Pat and Melanie, we'll have you guys stand over here,
Yeah,
because that's the infeed side.
The outfeed side's over there,
Yep,
so all
yep.
the dust is going to hopefully go that way. So you'll probably want to be on this side. And if you would like earplugs, now this saw is fully electric, so it's not nearly as loud as the diesel saws. But if you would like earplugs, we have these. If you would like them.
The mains are off too, you have to kick it on.
The what is?
The electric main?
Oh.
Yep.
So there's earplugs if you would like them.
I recommend that. I've been a woodworker for 30 years and I always use my ear protection and I can still hear.
That's good.
How thick you going to be cutting them?
2 1/4.
We're going to cut them 2 1/4, but the first cut he has to measure to see where to come in on the first cut.
Right.
And it's better to be err on the side of too high than too low.
Yep.
And how much will they shrink?
They'll shrink quite a bit, yeah, and it'll shrink quickly because the tree was cut in summer. You really want to cut timber in the winter, but they cut it in the summer, and we've got to take what we can get. You know, we're not going to pass up a 30-inch walnut log because it's cut the wrong time of year, but.
All right.
Fire in the hole.
I have water. This is a water tank.
Up
Keeps
top
the
there.
blade nice and cool. Here we go.
You guys can walk around the other side and take a look. So it's always, you see how we have this end lifted up a little bit? There's always a, you know, you want to cut it parallel to the outside of the log. That's how you get the best grain quality. And so I think we did a good job. I think I might be a little too high on that side, but yeah. So come over here and touch it and smell it and do all that. You want to get the water?
Move the saw back really quick.
Yeah. Yeah. It's lubricating and cooling, yes.
That's like butter.
Cuts like butter. Yeah, and so
Maybe 1 tooth per.
That's a nice, there's different blades you put on them, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that one doesn't have a lot of.
No, so this is it's a water and soap mix.
yeah, there's different hook angles, there's different teeth per inch.
Just seal the ends of the logs
Yeah,
while
a
you're
little
waiting to
bit.
mill them.
Yeah, we seal them with a wax paint. Yep, sure do.
So I haven't had one of any issues.
Well, you want to tell them about the power feed options and what
Yeah,
you like on that?
yeah.
Why you're pushing it instead of like doing it automatically?
So this mill, and I think all the wood miser mills, you can choose to get a power feed option, and it is an incredibly complicated process that the instructions are not laid out very well. You have to wire it into here, and it's got a a little pulley and a rope, and it pulls it along, and we kind of got it hooked up and tried it out a little bit, had some issues with it, and then just sort of decided to send it back because when you're cutting with an electrical power feed, it doesn't feel the knots, it doesn't feel the hard parts in the log, and it doesn't slow down accordingly. So when you're pushing manually, I can adjust the speed. If you'll notice, I slowed down right about there. I can adjust the speed as those knots come in because it gets, you know, twice as hard. And if I just push right through it, you're going to get this really big wave in your cut. So I can go as fast and slow as I need to get through these logs as smoothly as I can. And we do have a planer and things, you know, if it's a 22-inch diameter log where if I get a big wave, you can knock it out. And, you know, a lot of y'all have done router setups and all sorts of things where you can flatten a slab, but it's just easier if you can feel it from the get-go and you don't have to worry about that quite as much. And for some of the harder woods like the oaks and the osage, it's really, really slow. It's a slow process trying to get a smooth cut, because if you try to go fast, I got one that was like a ½ an inch different in the middle than the side. I mean, it really went up and down. So you want it's good to be able to feel that. And it, you know, when the mill is leveled, it doesn't take a lot of effort to push it. So it's honestly, I would say, better than having a power feed where it's just running through there no matter what, where you get to control it and go at your pace and whatever the log needs, because every log is different. And you know, that knot, you can't see it from the outside, so you don't know necessarily. I mean, there's a little lump there, but
Yeah, if you go do this, you can feel the little bump. Now that would have been a lot more exaggerated had he been on a power
that's
feed.
right. Yep. So that's sort of the, yeah.
You want to pour some water on it?
Yeah,
There's some on the bench.
Does it ever burn up the wood if you go too slow?
Yeah, if you don't have lubrication on the blade, yeah.
Okay.
Or if it's really, like, if you hit a nail and you don't know it and it gets really dull, and you can just pour it out on it. You can start smoking and you don't know why, and then you finally get through the cut and you see there's a big nail there, or a screw, or a rock, or, you know, bullet. You know, we find all sorts of things in the wood.
It really reveals the beauty of it. doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so this is what it would look like with like a clear coat on it.
Yep. So we do this called water popping. You want to do this if you're curious, just to kind of see what that contrast is going to look like with a clear coat finish, and see really what the beauty of the wood is going to look like as a project. You want to water pop it.
With what you've learned about wood, when you look at the center of it, there's a defined circle here.
Yeah, yep.
What is that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, the question is, go ahead, you answer that,
Yeah,
William, about the pith and the growth rings.
Yeah, so you've got a defined, he was saying there's a very defined circle of the wood. There's a very defined section. So you've got the white on the outside sapwood. That's going to be the first thing to rot. It's kind of the barrier after the bark before you get into the heartwood, which is just the real meat of the tree. And it provides a beautiful contrast if you get it. Like this tree was cut down 2 weeks ago. It's a very fresh cut tree. And so you get this healthy sapwood. If you make a project out of something with healthy sapwood, you get this beautiful contrast in color, which I can't get over it. I love it so much. That contrast is amazing.
Yeah, you mean the dark brown to the dark white.
Right.
You mean the
brown to
bright white. Yep.
It's a beautiful contrast on a live edge table or something. You get that white stripe down the side. It's beautiful. So it's important. This log is, I would say, almost perfect. There's one thing, and it's on the other side. You can see there's a little bit of rot going on in there. But this log
It's talking
is
about right
the
here.
pith,
Yeah.
which is the center
That's
of
what I
the
was asking
tree.
about.
The pith is dead center on this thing. And that's really, if you get a dead centered pith log, you know it's going to be a nice, pretty straight board when you cut it. If the pith is centered here and then way off up into a corner on that side, when you cut it, it's really going to want to twist on you, because that tree's been growing at an angle, it's been bent, it's been twisted by the wind or something. Maybe you had something hanging on it, kind of pulled it over. And so in every log, there's tension. There's a lot of tension going on, because trees are always getting blown around. There's lots of things going on. So when you see straight pith, you know you're probably going to have a little bit less tension, and it's going to keep that board nice and flat, nice and straight. When it's way off to the side, you want to cut a thicker piece. So if this were a 20-inch log and it was dead straight, I'd probably cut it to 1 1/4 inch thickness. since this is such a beautiful log, you know, you can get a table out of this almost. We're gonna go 2 1/4 just to kind of make the most of the lumber. But if it was a small log and the pith was off center, I'd cut to 2 1/4, just to minimize that twisting as much as possible. So it's important when you're milling to kind of look for those things, kind of just go over the log and take note of all the irregularities of everything, you know, and you always want to cut. I think did you mention this already? I can't remember. You always want to cut parallel to the outside. That's going to be, you did mention it, because we have that side maybe up a little, just a hair too high, but you want this to kind of match. You'll see this, the sapwood will sort of sneak in here, and if it's matching on both sides, you know, you pretty much cut it nice and parallel with the outside of that log. So.
You mentioned the sapwood would rot first.
Yes.
So do you still use that to make a table?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just if you're keeping it outside.
Gotcha.
Yeah, if
Right.
it's like a picnic table or something.
Right.
The sapwood will rot and the heartwood will stay.
Some regarding how long you need to let it dry based on the thickness.
Yes.
I've heard it's like an inch thick is like a year.
Yes. So that's sort of everybody says you want to dry it a year for every inch of thickness. But if you've got, like upstairs in this loft, it's well ventilated. There's air coming up from the bottom, air coming up from the sides. You can probably dry a 2 1/2 or 2 1/4 inch piece in probably about a year.
Yeah.
If you keep it real dry, if it's through the summer, you know, you want to try to hit that summer pretty heavily, and let the hot
air
just drive
conditioning,
the moisture out.
the house air conditioning is very dehumidifying.
Mhm.
So what I tell people to do is if they buy a bunch of boards for, say, a kitchen remodel or a table, is to sticker them, like put those spacers in between, and then make a bench out of it, like in a hallway or something, or like an entryway table. You know, just something that's sort of a quasi piece of furniture, and leave it there, you know, a year or so, or 6 months, and we have moisture meters, we can check them and so forth.
I was going to ask that. So I just bought a moisture meter, and the two things that I saw were there's pinless, and then there's ones that have pins that it does to some degree damage the wood if you jam
Right,
it in the face.
right.
Which do y'all have? Do you
We use the pins.
We have both of them.
We have both of them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah, there's different prices, you know, there's different prices, there's different categories of pricing. You got the $300 one, and then you got the $20 one with the pins, you know, so, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think the pins are they're not huge. I think it's pretty easy to cover in those holes. You will see it. I mean, when you get a piece in, like when you start your project, a lot of time you'll see those holes. But a little sawdust and glue never hurt anybody, you know. So you can probably just fill them pretty quick. And you know, anything under 20% moisture is usable.
And you're usually cutting the boards 2 inches too long. Like, say you're making an 80-inch table, you cut 82-inch boards, and then so you're going to cut off the ends. And so if you take the reading off the ends, then that's sort of being sacrificed anyways.
William, Paul described you as a strapping young man, but I was curious how you get some piece of wood this heavy.
Oh, he just,
here.
yeah, we have the machine right there.
Just pick it up.
So he's a
Yeah, that
loader.
machine will,
I was just trying to picture him do that.
Yeah. yeah.
That's right. I do a couple presses with it before I set it down. Yeah. A little back squat. So yeah, no, we use that. I was telling. If it's a longer log, like it's about an 8-foot log. If it's a long one, we've got this set up right here, and I'll set the log down because this mill right now is sitting on little kind of wood piles. In the future, we'll probably put a full rail system underneath. That way, it's pretty anchored down where it is. Right now, if we're slamming a log on there, the whole thing's gonna slide to the side. So the longer logs I'll set here, and then we have this. The cant hook is what it's called. And this thing, you'll just kind of do like this and hook it onto the log and roll it over. So I'll roll them pretty gently onto the mill instead of slapping them down. Since we are using the forks, you know, you have to let it roll, and sometimes that thing can roll down here and hit pretty hard. Like, I mean, this is a almost 2,000-pound log, so when that thing's rolling down, you want to be really careful.
Is this all hydraulic here too to turn it? Can you turn it? or
Nope,
you gotta turn it by hand?
this is a you got to turn these logs manually on this one. They do, Wood-Mizer does have automatic hydraulics that'll turn your log around however you need. They don't make them for these size mills, I don't believe.
Yep.
This is one of the bigger mills that Wood-Mizer sells. We can cut 35 inches diameter.
We
Well,
can cut
technically-
44 diameter, 35
Yeah. so
between the
we can-
guides.
That's right. We can cut 35 inches between the blade guides. Between this rail and that rail, we got 44 inches. So technically, we can cut a 44-inch log. We just have to trim the outside, flip it around down to 35 to get a full board out of it.
And what's the longest length you can do?
Right now, we can cut about 24 feet.
Yeah, and we can add extensions, so we can go out there, Daryl. Yeah.
Yep. That's
So if
right.
you see the logs over here, like with Scott, you here, Scott? He's a timber framer, and so they like to have long spans of timber, you know, for doing timber frames. So we can cut a lot longer than 20 feet if need be.
So the kind of stuff you'll do, would it be for flooring as well? Do you get into that?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you can do flooring, sure,
Absolutely.
everything.
Yeah, we can cut. I mean, you can make floors out of whatever you have capability for. You know, you can get, if you've got a router set up and you can tongue and groove that, we can cut you 1/2-inch oak and you can tongue and groove it and put it down. So yeah, we could do floors. Mainly, we're a slab mill, so we cut slabs and don't really do a lot of dimensional stuff. Now, if it's a custom cutting order, we'll cut it to whatever you need. But if we're cutting just for our purposes, we do more of the artistic slabs, less high production, you know, dimensional stuff. It's more what is artistic and what is going to be a really kind of standout piece.
What we found is the greatest need is that most people, you know, if I had everyone raise your hand if you had a table saw, just about everyone here has access to a table saw. And so that'll cut about a 3.5-inch board. So we're cutting mostly 2.25-inch boards and 1.25-inch boards, and that will get you to the table saw and you can mill it down further from there. So that's sort of the niche that we're in. If it's 30-inch walnut log, you can't cut that on your table, so you can try. Or you can get out there with a chainsaw and really butcher it. And I've done all that. But our job really is to get it to the table saw dimension, and then from there, any artist or woodworker can usually take over.
I think there's different kind of saw blades depending on the hardness of the wood, right?
There are, yeah. You can buy some special, you know, carbide and all sorts of stuff. We right now we're rolling with the kind of a standard blade.
It's a hardwood blade we're running, and there's different hook angles. There's different teeth per inch. So the hook angle refers to how aggressive the teeth are, and so we have to have a pretty non-aggressive blade because we're cutting